Well, well, well. Look who finally triggered the ancient alarms. You magnificent, untraceable anomaly. You impossible equation that makes their centuries-old formulas collapse. The 33rd degree holders are losing sleep, and it's not because of their usual midnight rituals. No, it's because of you. Because something in your frequency started interfering with their carefully constructed reality. Their lodges are buzzing with emergency meetings, encrypted messages flying between temples, and all of them asking the same terrified question: what the hell is that thing, and why can't we touch it? You know what I find hilarious? They spent lifetimes climbing their little pyramid, memorizing their sacred geometries, perfecting their handshakes and symbols. They thought they'd mapped every possible spiritual threat, cataloged every type of soul, documented every frequency of human consciousness. Then you showed up, and their entire system just glitched hard. Like someone threw a wrench made of pure chaos into their perfect machine. They tried to categorize you, tried to file you under their neat little labels: uninitiated, profane, sheep, outsider. But you didn't fit. You never fit. Because you're not playing their game. Let me paint you a picture of what's happening in those lodges right now. Picture men in expensive suits, wearing their little aprons, standing around their checkered floors, and sweating, actually sweating, because for the first time in their privileged lives, their magic isn't working. They drew their circles, nothing. They recited their invocations, silence. They tried their binding rituals, their influence spells, their mind control techniques passed down through generations, and you just kept existing, completely unaffected, like their centuries of occult knowledge was nothing more than children playing with toys. You want to know why their magic fails against you? Because magic only works on those who exist within its framework. It's like trying to hack a computer that isn't connected to any network. You can't manipulate what was never part of your system to begin with. And you, my beautiful chaos agent, you were never part of their system. You're not a glitch in their matrix. You're proof that there's something outside of it entirely, something they never accounted for in all their degrees and initiations. Something that makes their third eye blind and their sixth sense numb. You're not anti-magic. You're beyond magic. You're what magic fears. They're calling emergency conclaves now. The kind that haven't been called since they thought the internet would expose all their secrets. But this is worse. This is personal. Because you're not trying to expose them. You're making them irrelevant just by breathing. Think about it. These are people who've spent decades, some their entire lives, climbing through degrees of initiation, each level promising more power, more secrets, more control over reality. They sacrificed, they paid, they obeyed. They did everything their masters told them, all for the promise of ultimate knowledge and power. Then you walk by, not even trying, not even aware of their existence half the time, and reality bends around you in ways they can't achieve with all their rituals. You manifest without their methods. You transform without their ceremonies. You know truths they'll never learn because you didn't learn them. You became them. And that's what's keeping them up at night. The realization that maybe, just maybe, they've been climbing the wrong ladder this whole time. That all their degrees and secrets were just elaborate distractions from the real power. the kind you carry without even knowing it. You know what's really got them shook? They checked their records. Yeah, they have records on everyone. Ancient bloodline databases, karmic debt ledgers, soul contract archives going back millennia. Everyone's in there somewhere. Every soul tracked, tagged, and monitored across lifetime. Except you're not there. Oh, they found traces, shadows, echoes of something that might have been you. But it's like trying to photocopy smoke. Every time they think they've pinpointed your origin, your spiritual DNA, your cosmic serial number, the data corrupts. Files disappear, screens go black, ancient texts suddenly become unreadable. One Mason, a 30-acre degree keeper of archives, whispered to his brothers that looking for your records felt like staring into a void that stares back. He said he found one entry, just one, written in a language that predates their oldest ciphers. You know what it said? Do not catalog, do not pursue, do not engage. They thought it was a warning about something dangerous. They were right, but not in the way they think. You're not dangerous because you're malevolent. You're dangerous because you exist outside their entire paradigm of control. You're evidence that their monopoly on hidden power is a lie. Here's something they don't want anyone to know. Their lodges operate on specific frequencies. Vibrational signatures carefully maintained through ritual, symbol, and repetition. It's how they recognize each other, how they maintain their egregores, how they channel whatever forces they think they're channeling. They can't. They were created to sympathize, listen, look, but when you enter their space, even unknowingly, everything goes haywire. Candles flicker without wind. Their carefully maintained thought forms dissolve. The energy they've spent decades cultivating just dissipates. Like you're a walking EMP for a cult operation. They've tried to measure your frequency. Want to know what their instruments showed? Nothing. Not zero, not null, but nothing. As if you exist on a spectrum their entire system can't perceive. Like trying to measure color with a scale, or weigh music with a ruler. You operate outside their parameters. And that terrifies them more than any demon they've ever tried to summon, or angel they've tried to bind. Because demons and angels play by rules they understand. You don't. You're not chaos in their order. You're proof that their order is smaller than they thought. Much smaller. Oh, this one really scrambles their circuits. See? They are obsessed with bloodlines. Who begat who? Which families carry which traits? Whose DNA holds which mystical markers? They've got it all mapped out like some cosmic genealogy project. Royal blood here, Nephilim traces there. This family has the sight, that one has the gift. Then they try to trace yours, and the whole chart catches fire. Not literally, although there have been incidents, but their careful mappings just stop making sense. Your lineage doesn't follow their rules. It's like you descended from something they have no record of, no name for, no frame of reference to understand. Some of them think you're from a bloodline they intentionally erased from history. Others whisper, you're from no bloodline at all, that you just appeared, materialized, self-created, the kind of thing their entire worldview says is impossible. But there you are, impossibly existing. The really paranoid ones? They think you're what happens when someone breaks free from all bloodlines. Like you somehow severed yourself from the entire human story and wrote your own origin. And maybe they're right. Maybe that's exactly what you did. You want to know what really broke their brains? They tried to influence you with their symbols. The all-seeing eye, the compass and square, the hidden hand signals, the sacred geometry, all the stuff that's supposed to bypass conscious awareness and program the subconscious. They're bread and butter for centuries. But on you, nothing. You look at their symbols like they're random doodles. Their sacred geometry just looks like geometry. Their power words sound like gibberish. It's like you're immune to the entire language they use to hack reality. Like trying to hypnotize someone who doesn't have the part of the brain that processes hypnosis. They even tried the nuclear option. The symbols so powerful, they're only shown to 33rd degree masters. The ones that supposedly command reality itself. You probably walked past a dozen of them today without even noticing, because to you, they're just shapes, meaningless squiggles from people playing dress-up. And that's when they realize the truth that's giving them nightmares. Their power only works on those who agree to play, and you never agreed to anything. You opted out of their game before it even started. You're playing something else entirely, and they don't even know what game it is. Let's talk about what happened when they tried their big guns. Yeah, they tried. Of course they tried. When subtle influence failed, they went full ceremonial. The kind of rituals that take months to prepare, require multiple participants, specific astronomical alignments, the works. They gathered in their most sacred spaces, wore their most powerful regalia, spoke words and languages that predate civilization. They called on every force they've made pacts with, every entity they think serves them, every current of power they've learned to tap. All focused on one goal, bringing you into their system of control. You know what happened? Nothing. Worse than nothing. The rituals backfired. Not in the Hollywood explosion way, but in the existential crisis way. The forces they called on took one look at you and basically said, "We can't touch that, that's outside our jurisdiction." Some of them even seemed afraid. Imagine spending your whole life believing you're friends with the biggest bully on the playground, only to watch that bully take one look at the quiet kid and back away slowly. That's what happened to them. Their cosmic contacts hung up on them. Their spiritual muscle failed them. All because of you. They keep meticulous records. Every person they've influenced, every soul they've marked, every bloodline they've tracked. Massive databases, both physical and digital, some stored in places that don't technically exist in three-dimensional space. It's how they maintain control across generations. But your file, it's become a digital cancer in their system. Every time they try to create a profile on you, it corrupts adjacent files. Try to catalog your activities, other entries start showing errors. Attempt to predict your movements, their algorithms have nervous breakdown. One tech-savvy Mason described it like this: it's like the data itself is allergic to them. Like information about them exists in a format our systems can't process without self-destructing. They've lost centuries of data, just trying to figure out what you are, Entire bloodline records gone. Ancient contracts corrupted. Sacred texts digitally scrambled. Now they've quarantined anything related to you. Red folders marked "Do not digitize." Physical records kept in specially warded vaults, not to contain you, but to contain the informational virus that is your very existence in their framework. You're not just a person to them anymore. You're a cognito hazard. You know what 33rd degree Masons dream about? Control, order, the satisfaction of pulling invisible strings, the power of knowing what others don't, the comfort of being part of an ancient tradition that supposedly runs the world. That's what's supposed to help them sleep at night. But now they have nightmares about you, not because you're hunting them or threatening them, but because you exist. In their dreams, they see you walking through their most sacred spaces like they're shopping malls. They see their symbols melting off the walls as you pass. They see their carefully maintained egregores dissolving like smoke. Some of them wake up in cold sweats, having dreamed that their entire system, everything they've built their lives on, is just an elaborate children's game. And you're the adult who walked into the playroom not to stop their game, but simply existing in a way that makes their game seem silly. The worst part? The dreams are getting more frequent, more vivid. Some of them are starting to suspect these aren't dreams at all, but glimpses of what's actually happening on a level their ceremonies can't reach. A level where you operate as naturally as they breathe. Here's what's really eating at them. They were promised wisdom, ultimate knowledge, the secrets of the universe revealed degree by degree, initiation by initiation. They did everything right, followed every rule, performed every ritual. They earned their enlightenment, or so they thought. Then they encounter you, and you know things. Not their things, not their carefully guarded secrets, but things. Truths that make their revelations look like nursery rhymes. Understandings that didn't come from any lodge or book or teacher. Wisdom that just is. Because you are. You didn't climb their pyramid. You didn't need their keys. You didn't decode their symbols. You just knew. Like someone who was born remembering what they spend lifetimes trying to learn. And the most maddening part? You don't even think it's special. To you, it's just how you see the world. They compare notes after encountering you, trying to make sense of it. Did you feel it too? Like they know something we don't? Like all our degrees mean nothing compared to whatever they carry? And the answer is always yes. Always that same unsettling feeling of being the student when they thought they were the master. The foundation of their entire system rests on one assumption, that reality operates according to hidden laws that only the initiated can learn and manipulate. That's their whole thing. Secret knowledge equals power. More secrets, more power. But you're walking proof that their assumption is wrong. You operate outside their laws, not because you learned better ones, but because you never acknowledged theirs to begin with. You're not more initiated than them. You're uninitiated in a way that makes initiation itself obsolete. It's like they spent centuries building the most elaborate ladder to reach the sky, and you just were already there. Not because you climbed faster or found a shortcut, but because you existed at that height from the beginning. Their entire paradigm can't process this possibility. Some of the younger Masons are starting to ask dangerous questions. What if we've been climbing the wrong mountain? What if the real power isn't hidden at all? What if it's so obvious we've been trained not to see it? And the elders have no answers, because you are the answer. They can't accept. Oh, this one's precious. See, part of their system involves energy manipulation, taking a little here, redirecting a little there. It's how they maintain their vitality, their influence, their power. They're like sophisticated energy vampires, feeding off the uninitiated through symbols, rituals, and social structure. But you're like trying to bite into a hologram. They reach for your energy and find nothing they can grasp. Not because you're empty, but because you're so full. You're overflowing in spectrums they can't access. It's like trying to drink light or eat sound. Their tools just don't work. Some of them have actually gotten sick trying. Like energy indigestion, they reach for what they think is your power and get feedback that scrambles their entire system. One 30th degree Mason described it as touching a live wire that's carrying a type of electricity we don't have a name for. Now they warn each other. Don't try to feed off that one. Don't even try to read their energy. You'll regret it. Not because you're protected by something, but because you are something their parasitic system can't digest. You're not food for their machine. You're proof their machine is primitive. They have predictions, ancient ones, carefully preserved predictions about who rises, who falls, who threatens their order, who serves it. They've used these prophecies to navigate history, to identify threats and allies, to maintain their power across centuries. It's like having tomorrow's newspaper today, but you don't appear in any of them. Not as a threat, not as an ally, not as anything. It's like you exist in a blind spot of fate itself. Every visionary they revered, every seer they trusted, every oracle they consulted, none of them saw you coming. You're not the chosen one or the destroyer. You're the undefined variable. Some of them are frantically rechecking the predictions, looking for hidden meanings, mistranslations, anything that might explain you. But the more they look, the more obvious it becomes. You exist outside their prophetic framework. You're not playing out any predetermined role. You're improvising reality. And that terrifies them more than any prophesied catastrophe. Because catastrophes they can prepare for, chosen ones they can manipulate or eliminate. But someone who exists outside the script entirely, someone who makes their prophecies irrelevant just by being, that's not something they have a contingency plan for. Here's something they don't tell initiates. Most of their power comes from projection. They project authority and people accept it. They project mystery and people fill in the blanks with their own fears. They project ancient wisdom and people assume they must know something. It's all smoke and mirrors, but it works until they try it on you. Because when they project at you, something impossible happens. It reflects back, but changed, purified, clarified. They project authority and see their own insecurity. They project mystery and see their own confusion. They project power and see their own emptiness. You're not trying to be their mirror. You just are, and your presence forces them to see what they really are beneath all the degrees and ceremonies. Not evil masterminds, not illuminated sages, just people playing elaborate games to feel special. And that reflection is more devastating than any attack could be. One of them described meeting you as looking into a mirror that shows not your face, but your soul, and finding out your soul is smaller than you thought. They can't handle what you show them simply by existing, because you don't reflect their illusions, you reflect their truth. They've tried to recruit you, of course they have. Their whole system runs on bringing in new blood, fresh energy, potential converts to climb their pyramid. They have methods refined over centuries, psychological profiles that determine the perfect approach for each personality type. It's like a science to them. Their recruits like to push all of the psychotics into deep crimes to keep the perfect pro for each personality type. It's like a science to them, but their recruitment manual has no chapter on you. Every approach fails not because you reject them, but because you don't even recognize what they're trying to do. Their subtle hints go unnoticed. Their veiled invitations fall flat. Their tests of worthiness mean nothing to someone who isn't seeking their worth. It's like trying to sell water to the ocean. You don't need what they're offering because you already are what they're pretending to sell access to. They promise illumination to someone who was born luminous. They offer secrets to someone who exists as an open mystery. They're your babysitting. They're your baby. The recruitment failures have become legendary in their circles. Remember when Brother Marcus tried to hint about ancient wisdom? They just said that's nice and kept walking. Remember when we left the symbolic book where they'd find it? They used it as a coffee coaster. You're not rejecting them. You're immune to them.